Hello guys, if you're Friends91, and I'm bringing you a video here on how 500 gigabytes for both PS4 and the Xbox One actually isn't really enough. Now honestly, when I first heard that they were going to be 500 gigabytes each, I was thinking, oh, that's a lot, because I got my 360 and that's only 250 gigabytes. And I think I initially had one where I only had a 20 gig hard drive, and you make it work. But the difference is that the 360, I didn't have to download those games. I mean, with the 360, I could just take them, put them in, and play them. The stuff I had to download was, if I wanted to, of course, was DLC. Now I basically had to download updates and patches if they had any. But the thing is that these new systems, you have to download all your games. Now, Arkham Knight, which I was actually watching Rich Review Tech USA. And in his video, he was like how he was complaining about basically two things about the installation time that it took for Batman, that would take for Batman Arkham Knight, and the space on the hard drive, I think. Now, I don't really care about the installation time, because to me, you know, if you have to come home and you have to like install your thing before playing, it's not that big of a deal to me. If you have to come home, you have to put it in, maybe go to sleep, maybe wake up the next day and it's installed, you know, not big of a deal. But the thing with me is that the 500 gigabytes of space that these systems are coming with are now not becoming enough. Now, when the PS4 first came out, in truth, I thought that 500 gigabytes was a lot because the games themselves weren't that much. Let's just read a couple of the games. Assassin's Creed 4, that was only 21.2 gigabytes. Call of Duty Ghost, that was 31.1 gigabytes. A little bit more, but not too much. Battlefield 4, that was 33.9 gigabytes. Once again, not too much. Now, Killzone Shadowfall was actually 38.5 gigabytes. Now, that should have been a little like premonition. Killzone Shadowfall, even Knack was 35.6 gigabytes. Now, notice, Killzone Shadowfall and Knack were both PS4 only games. So I guess the PS4 developers knew a lot more about the system. They used a lot more than other developers would have to like increase graphics and stuff like that. So it makes sense that they would be a little bit more gigabytes, right? Batman Arkham Knight is a third-party game, and the developers are now so comfortable, it seems, with these new, or the current gen, that they're able, at least with Batman Arkham City Knight, to be 48.7 gigabytes. They're able to use almost all that Blu-ray disc. Now, the thing is that if games continue this way, they will most likely only get bigger, and they will get a lot more space taken up on your hard drive. If you only have 500 gigabyte hard drive, then you really are in trouble, because you're going to have to pick games to delete off your hard drive so that you can put on new games. And that's not what we should have to do. Because what happens when you want to play the old game? You're like, oh, now you have to go back through that installation process? But then you have to delete another game so they can put in an old game? No! The thing is this. The 500 gigabytes may have been good at first, but at this point, I know that Xbox One does have a terabyte system, and of course, it is about $100 more, I believe. It's about $449 when the Xbox One is about $349 right now. Now, I understand that had they done a terabyte from the beginning, it would have been a lot more. And let's face it, if E3 2013, the Xbox 360, Xbox One was a terabyte and it was $599 instead of $499, and the PS4 was $499 instead of $399 because they added on the extra space, that would make them look terrible. That would make the Wii U look much better to most people. Just saying. Because if these systems are so expensive, even if they were a lot better, I don't think a lot of people would have bought them because they were that expensive. But the thing is this. If we're buying about 2 to 3, maybe 4 games a year, okay, now, if these games are going to be the size of Arkham Knight, let's just use that as a base. These games, that means that with 500 gigabytes of space, now, you don't even have a full 500 gigabytes because your operating system stuff takes up some of that. So let's just go with maybe 450 for the Xbox One and the PS4. So with that much space, you can only fit about 9 games in the hard drive. So that means they've been out for about 2 years so far. Let's just say you have 6 games for the game system right now. That means that this year, you better only, when you buy those 3 games, those are the last 3 games you can buy. Now, of course, in the past 2 years, the games were smaller, so you probably wouldn't run out of space yet. But I'm just using the 48.7 as a base. Now, because there's DLC. which you don't have to download, but many people do. And there's updates, and those basically you have to download if you want to play online. Also, if you have Xbox Live Gold or you have PS Plus, you have 2 free games a month. Now, I know you don't have to download those either, but I know most people probably do. They're free. I mean, I see free. I run for it, basically. So, to me, this 500 gigabytes, it's just not much at all. I mean, these systems have been out for about 2 years, and I'm pretty sure people are probably already running out of space. I think my cousin, he was downloading. Now, he was getting a lot of games for some reason. And he was like, he would have to start deleting just so that he could undo some of those games. And some of the patches are massive, like the Assassin's Creed Unity patch. So, and the patches you basically have to download if you want to play online. And that's what I'm trying to say. There are so much stuff that you have to download into the current gen systems that I feel like the 500 gigabytes is going to go like that. So yeah, you would have to basically upgrade to the terabyte one, but that's an extra $100. And when the game, it's only been 2 years, we shouldn't have to upgrade yet. For those of you who of course have bought a lot of games, 'cause I know that some people haven't bought that many, so that means that they wouldn't have to upgrade for a while, depending on how much games you buy each year. But still, for those of us who do buy a lot of games every year, and do want to play them all and don't have to delete any, because we like to sometimes go back to old games and stuff like that. I mean, that's just bad news because these games are getting bigger and our hard drives are remaining the same size. Now, one of the biggest things is that the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, after 2 years, because these consoles, they wanted them to last 10 years. We can't last 10 years, or the consoles can't last 10 years if people are starting to run out of space now. They're only 2 years into their lifespan. Not even a full 2 years yet. At the end of this year, around November, they will be a full 2 years. It's only been 1 year and maybe a few months since they came out, and the 500 gigabyte hard drive isn't cutting it. That's what I'm trying to say. But to me, I don't know what Sony and Microsoft, because I think the PS4 you can remove the hard drive and put in a new one. And I know that Xbox One has that terabyte, like I said, but even with the terabyte, if you add that's only going to add maybe another 9 games, which isn't bad. But once again, patches, DLC, all different kinds of things. So I still think even though that terabyte will probably, I think by this time next year, that terabyte, there will be some people who have already filled that terabyte of space. So the thing with this is that the current gen, other than the Wii U, has become like computers in a bad way. I mean, I love how game systems now they have Netflix and all that stuff. Now they can become like computers in that regard, and that's fine. But now they're like becoming like computers in the regard that you are expected to buy other things, and not just regular accessories, not just like that. You're expected to buy like it seems like they expect you to eventually get an external hard drive. And I'm like, for my console? I mean, you do that for your computer, but for your console? A console? One of the points of a console was that so you could just play games without too much hassle. Like with a computer, when you wanted to play a game with a computer, you had to download, you had to like do different things for certain games. It was like hassle, but you expected that with a computer. When consoles, let's go with the old NES. You put the game in, even though the old NES had its own hassles. You put the game in, you played. That's what you did. N64, you put the game in, you played. Even down to Xbox 360, you put the game in, you played. Now it's like it's like you have to think of so many different things. You have to think, all right, is my hard drive going to run out? Is this going to happen? Should I download this? Do I need this? Should I delete this? Should I not? I mean, it's just, the consoles are supposed to make gaming much easier than PC. And it's just becoming much more hassle with consoles. Anyway, I actually don't own an Xbox One or PS4, so I don't have to deal with this hassle yet. My Wii U, I put the game in, I play it. But you guys, tell me what you guys think about this, because especially those of you who own Xbox Ones and or PS4s, because I'm pretty sure that soon, by this time next year at least, I think this is going to be a huge issue. I think that people who buy a lot of games, or even people who buy like maybe 6 or 7 games by next year, will be like, where did my hard drive space go? That's because they probably still get free games from Xbox Live or PlayStation, the PlayStation Network. So they'll be like, where did my hard drive space go? Where did this 500 gigabytes go? I don't know. Sony and Microsoft, I think, just both have to get something going. Some type of thing that will just work out to make it a lot less hassle. But that's just my opinion. You guys tell me yours in the comments below, please. All right, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and may God bless you all.